When I was about 6 years old, my parents did the most unusual thing for them of bringing in a babysitter so that they could have a night out. Now, the reason that it was unusual is because there was like five of us, and it was a pretty full-on thing to be raising a family of five kids, busy parents, and for them to take a night out was pretty special. So they brought in a babysitter, and the babysitter sat down all of us kids down at the table and told us that we were going to be making something. We were going to create something. We were going to make art. And I was dead keen. I was full of creative zeal. I was hungry to make something. And I was just really keen and eager to get going. And so I looked at her and I said, "What am I going to make?" And she said, "Well, make anything you want." And I went, "Oh." And I sat there and I sat there and I sat there and I thought and I thought and I thought, and I couldn't think of anything to create. And at the end of that whole session, I ended up not making anything because I could not think of something to make. And it was the most frustrating experience of my young life. I couldn't imagine it. And so therefore I couldn't start it. And so if you fast forward, quite a number of years to running my own business and trying to wear all the marketing hats, I've come up against exactly the same sort of problem. I have to create something, some kind of content, but I don't know what it should be. Welcome to the Online Business Launchpad podcast. I'm your host, Trudy Rankin, and today I'm going to be sharing with you what I've been doing to try and deal with this problem that I have, where I'm trying to translate words in my head into visual images and just drawing a blank. So let's dive in. Now, for me, podcasts are easy because I'm just simply asking questions and I'm talking about problems and challenges that we all face as business owners. And that's easy. And anything to do with writing is much easier for me these days because I've had years of practice at it. Back in the days when my kids were small, I used to make pocket money by writing articles for magazines. But anything visual is very, very difficult for me. I'll stare at a blank canvas screen or their slides or their templates, and I'll think, just like I did when I was a kid, I don't know where to start. And for me, the words in my head are very difficult to translate into visual images. It's just a thing with me. So when I discovered AI tools that will create art by using words, I was ecstatic. I was over the moon with delight. So I started experimenting with this tool called DALL-E 2. I'm sure you've heard of it. And there's lots of other ones, but that's the one I've been playing with. And that's when I really started to understand the power of AI, what it can do and what it can't. And here's the thing. Even when using words or prompts to create a digital image, it's like it's always been: rubbish in equals rubbish out. And you actually have to know something about the art of composition if you want the image you're creating to look halfway decent. And suddenly I'm back at the bottom of the learning curve again. It's like trying to understand lighting and framing and style and on and on and on. I'm loving it, but it's not the silver bullet that I was hoping it would be. It hasn't cured my struggles with translating my thoughts into visual images. But it has made me stop being lazy and start learning the principles that it takes to make something visually appealing. And yes, there are rules around it. And I realized that I needed to crawl before I could learn how to run. Now, one of the projects that I've mentioned here on my show before is something called the menopauseeffect.com. It's a project I started ages ago. I've been slowly picking away at it and trying to bring it to life again. And it's intended to be a lighthearted look at a serious topic. And that's the impact that menopause can have on women and their families. And one of my goals has been to find or create images that help get the point across in a humorous way. And that was one of the reasons why I got so excited about AI generated images. But, and it's a big but, what I've produced so far leaves a lot to be desired. I'm all for done is better than perfect, but when the done leaves even me cringing, I know it's time to try something else. So once again, harking back to my childhood, I've always loved comics. I've got this collection of a few books of my favorites like The Far Side and Garfield, etc. So when Chris Lissy, sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, suggested to me via LinkedIn that I should actually try learning to draw my own comics, I was skeptical, but I went ahead and I bought a book called Making Comics by Linda Berry, and I've been working my way through the exercises, and I'm loving it. I still draw horribly, but I can see how what I'm learning is one day going to translate into simple comic strips that I can use for the menopauseeffect.com website and my newsletter. And it's also going to work for my online business liftoff as well. And I can see how I'm going to be able to take what I'm learning and apply it to my feeble attempts with AI generated images, because now I'll be able to use my own image and get the AI to help me enhance it. And that helps take care of some of the ethical things that I've been worried about a little bit about AI generated images, where I'm not relying on anybody else. I'm relying on my own images, no matter how badly they're drawn, and using AI to help me enhance that. Now, that's the theory so far. So I'll keep you posted on this experiment. And if you'd like to follow along in a bit more detail in my newsletters, you can sign up by going to onlinebusinessliftoff.com/newsletter. And I'll be delighted to share with you some of the tips and techniques that I've picked up along the way about all things online business, and also about using AI for images and for copywriting and things like that. So thanks very much for listening, and I will see you next time.